Vagamente me lembro que estou.
3, 2, 1, go.
Episode 232. Let's go. UFC Rio. Real quick, shout out to Illinois Bigfoot and Death Punch. Appreciate the comments and engagement from last week. Last week was okay, Meat Boy. We both went 2-3. Let's not belabor the recap, but we do need to touch on the Meatlock. We had a dink dog on Khalil Roundtree. He dominated round one. He won round two. He was up 2-0 on all three judges' scorecards, and then Jiri pulled the Samurai Magic, came back in the third round, gets a beautiful finish of his own. Spoiled our Meatlock, but obviously low key we were a part of us was repping Jiri. I mean, how do you not root for Jiri Prohaska? What'd you make of the again L of a Meatlock? Did you feel like Khalil was going to get that one done? Takeaways from that fight specifically.
Yeah, no, that was a crazy barrage where you're like, oh my gosh, please don't get knocked out. Oh no, knock him out. Wait, Yuri's a freaking zombie. What the heck? And man, props to Yuri. Yuri's an absolute warrior. And I saw a crazy stat the other day. Yuri has not lost to one opponent in the last 10 years unless his name was Alex Pereira, which I find very fascinating. But man, Yuri's an absolute savage. Props to him. I can't wait to see. I really hope him versus Pereira happens. I want Yuri to get that done. That would be just so cool and awesome. And I think it would be a good way to start the Yuri reign. Because Pereira is on his last limb. He's got maybe max probably one more fight, maybe two, but he's pushing his age of dominating. He's just getting older every year. So, and Yuri's still pretty young.
Yeah, to touch on that, I mean, Pereira's 38. We both picked Ankalaev to get that one done. Obviously, he got slept in 80 seconds. So perhaps Pereira and 38. Maybe he's just a different breed, a la Jose Aldo, a la the Meatlock coming up. Stay tuned this weekend. Who knows? The guy's kind of defying the odds. I'm with you. However, I would love to see Jiri fight versus AP again, specifically given that fact that you shared where it's basically his only loss in the last decade. So that's quite impressive. If perhaps Pereira is sidelined, maybe we get Yuri versus the Black Jag. That could be fun for a number one contender fight. But that's again pitting two boys against each other. So who knows what's next? But a lot of options, obviously. Quickly, Meat Boy, we both called Joe Pyfer. Obviously, got that one done easy light work over Abus Magomedov. Abus, one of the best round one fighters in the UFC. But if you can survive five, the tides will turn. Pyfer did just that. Emmett versus Zalal was over quickly. I had Zalal, you had Emmett. That fight was kind of non-competitive, and Yusuf Zalal continues doing what he's doing. And then Merab dominated Corey Sandhagen. I thought Sandhagen would come through for the YOLO, but he did not. I don't know who's going to beat Merab. Is anyone in this division going to threaten him? Umar, perhaps? What do you make of Merab? And he's slowly accumulating all these title defenses, and people are starting to throw the word GOAT out there. Do you think that Merab is in GOAT conversation or is getting there?
Dude, Marab is definitely getting there, and Marab is an absolute savage. Like, I mean, like I thought that's how I was kind of gonna go, but then you see it and you're still surprised, even though you're like, dude, Marab's just gonna maul him, easy light work, like everyone he's been doing, and then you're just like, geez, he's really that good, and the consistency of doing it in that spectacular fashion, it, I mean, he's got to be in the talks. If not, after his next fight, it's like he's almost solidified at this point. He's definitely a top five great because no one's dominated. Like he's basically the Khabib of 135. Like nobody is touching him, and everyone is scared of him.
Yeah, great points. And Rogan was interviewing him. He's like, "Who do you want next?" And he even threw out the name Peter Yan. And then he's like, "I just want to stay active, right?" And then Rogan responded with something to the effect of like, "Well, yeah, but we need there to be. It has to be a competitive fight, right? It has to be like an opponent that will actually make it an interesting matchup." And then Marab was like saying, anything can happen. I'm just a man. Think, anyone can beat anyone on any given night. So like he was almost doing like reverse promo where he's saying, "No, Joe, I promise, like I can." It was a very interesting situation. Rarely do you see a fighter defending the idea that, "No, Joe, I might actually lose a fight." It's speaks to the dominance, speaks to the level that Marab is operating at, and I hope he stays active. Always love to see the machine fight, regardless of who it's against. So you ready to swap us through? I felt like last week did deliver as far as the pay-per-view is concerned. We're off to Rio for another fight night, but there's some scrappy bangers on here. You ready to swap us through?
Oh yeah, this Meatlock is an absolute banger.
Yeah, move us in. It's the meat event. It's the Meatlock, and it's Mateus Gamrot minus 120, a slight favorite taking on Charles Oliveira. Charlie Olives at minus 106, and Last week, we saw what Pereira did. We faded him at 38. We thought he might be too old. This time, Charles Oliveira is only 35. He's got a hometown matchup, and the odds makers think Gamrot is going to keep this competitive, and we're here to offer the take that he won't. Charles Oliveira is going to go through and smoke Mateus Gamrot. Gamrot is an extremely well-rounded guy, obviously, but we think Oliveira is going to have the answers to deal with whatever offense he tries to bring, and we don't think that Gamrot has the one-punch lethal power that it's going to require in order to take out a guy like Charles Oliveira. And while yes, some might in the comments say Topuria exposed his chin, he's coming in effective, it's glassy at this point. We just don't think Gamrot has the power to one punch sleep him, and when the relentless pace and pressure and wrestling and grappling that Gamrot tries to offer to Oliveira is unsuccessful and ultimately gasses him out in those first couple rounds, we like Oliveira to turn on the gas and make this a fight that he dominates in the later stages. So, what are your thoughts on this Meatlock? How do you think Charles Oliveira gets this one done? Is he going to finish Gamer Gamrot, or is he taking him into deep waters and likely wins a decision?
Yeah, no, man, I think he gets knocked out first round. To be honest, I don't think Gamer lasts more than 2 rounds. To be fair, I think Oliver is going to put an absolute clinic on him, pressure early and often, break him, take him down at will, or let him take him down and get submitted, or knock him down and destroy. So I think this is going to be pretty easy light work. Like I just don't see any realm where Oliveira loses this in any aspect. On the feet, Oliveira is 10 times better. On the ground, he's going to submit him. So it's just, I hate to say it, but the gamer has met his maker, and he's gonna get cooked this weekend.
Yeah, I buy that for sure. I do, however, want to expand on the idea of Oliveira getting the early finish because obviously this is a dude who has no shortage of early finishes. I mean, Gaethje got smoked in round one, Beneil Dariush got smoked in round one, so there are some somewhat recent early first round finishes for Oliveira. Jared Gordon, another example. However, Gamrot's never been finished before, so what specifically about Oliveira's game do you think could provide finishing opportunities against a guy in Gamrot who has yet to succumb via finish?
Yeah, no, I just don't think the gamer has fought anyone like Oliveira. Oliveira's finishing rate is absolutely insane, and he does not. He's relentless. He just does not slow down. Keeps moving forward, and gamer is gonna want to take him down, but he won't because he'll get submitted. So then you have to stand up and bang, and then it's gonna turn into him running away, and Oliveira's probably gonna catch him with a flying knee for the finish.
It's a great point. And again, this is a dude in Oliveira who has 35 total wins, right? 31 of them coming via finish. So it's a rarity when Oliveira wins by decision. And obviously, that includes the record UFC 21 submissions for Oliveira as well. So I think that could be a sneaky pathway. Loving Oliveira in this one as a meatlock. Keeping it simple, throwing down an easy 318 to net 300. It's possible we go back in the red on this one, Meat Boy, for a first time in many, many years, but we're going to risk it a little bit. We're going deep on Charlie Olives, and we think he gets this one done. Tapology's in agreement. 63% is rolling with Charlie Olives. Majority going for that sub as well. So, despite the fact that Gamer Gamrot has never dealt with a finishing blow before, perhaps his controller is out of batteries, so to speak, and Oliveira is the one to plug him back in. So let's go Oliveira. I like by submission. If you're going first round finish, are you saying it's a submission or a knockout?
I'm gonna go, man. I'm gonna go knock down, finish submission.
Club and sub, typical of what Oliveira's done to many guys before. And just to put a bow on it, if we remember, Oliveira fought Beneil Dariush and absolutely smoked him easy light work. And obviously it's some MMA math, but Beneil Dariush smoked Gamer Gamrod easy light work. So if 1 + 1 is 2, then let's cash this meatlock for sure. But let us know in the comments if you are rolling with Charlie Olives, or are we stuck on the Poetan hype of last week and neglecting the Gamer lock. Let us know, but swap us through, me boy, because this next one is pretty fascinating. It's a battle of the nepotism, right? We got Muhammad Usman, Kamaru's brother, taking on Walter Walker, Johnny's brother, and it's it's kind of a tale of two careers. I mean, both these guys are getting victories at the moment, but Walter Walker suddenly is a real threat, seemingly in this heavyweight division, and seemingly because he has the nastiest heel hooks available, not only at the heavyweight class, but in the promotion in its entirety. So, what do you make out of Walter Walker? Is this guy like the Ryan Hall of the heavyweight division, and Muhammad Usman is about to get heel hooked like all of Walter Walker's recent opponents, or is Snoozebro going to come through, find a way to keep this on the feet, and cash as a plus 240 dog against Johnny's little brother?
Yeah, Snooze Bro, man, he's so bad, but like low key, he might be able to get this one done as a dog. The Walker, it's weird to see that Johnny Walker's bro is this big of a favorite. The double bros versus each other. I don't know. It's either gonna be Walker win via submit or Usman wins split decision. That's kind of how I see it. I'm gonna roll with Usman with the upset. I like the odds. I'm gonna hope that Mohammed gets this done, but he's probably gonna lose and get sub pretty quick.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because you hinted on this going the distance, right? And Snoozebro is just a decision machine, right? His last six fights, all decisions, all unanimous, either unanimous victories or unanimous L's. Those against Mick Parkin, aka Meat Larkin, and Thomas Peterson, who's also fighting on this card. But if you look at Walter Walker, this is a guy who has yet to even see a second round in the last few years, despite his one unanimous debut loss against Lukasz Brzezinski when he was a fat favorite and Brzezinski cashed as a dog. It's been first round finishes ever since then. So we got one guy who survives 15 minutes with ease, Snooze Bro, versus one guy who hasn't seen a second round in a long time. Do you think that Walter Walker might start to fade a little bit in the second and or third round if it gets that far? And is that by picking Snooze Bro, are you kind of banking on the idea that Snooze Bro will survive 5 minutes and from that point he can use his decision experience to just take over the fight?
Yeah, that's gonna be my guess. I think the Snooze Bro experience, and hopefully he knows the grappling is gonna be coming, and he can just keep it on the feet and just peck away and get that decision.
Yeah, good stuff. I think there could be some rationale to what you're suggesting. I don't know. Walter Walker's 10 years younger. Tapology is obviously overwhelmingly bullish. I think it's a little bit crazy to be honest, but 95% is going with Walker, and it's basically all copper for the sub. I guess the recent comp that worries me for Snooze Bro is Kenny and Nzechukwu just fought Walter Walker a couple weeks ago and got absolutely smoked, right? And I gotta imagine if Kenny and Nzechukwu went up against Snooze Bro, Kenny would probably snipe his face off and absolutely put his lights out. So I struggle to see a world where Walter Walker can do that to Kenny and Nzechukwu, but can't do it to Snoozer. I mean, I guess Kenny, if you're trying to find the counter, he's 6'10", long, lanky versus Snooze Bro, who's just 5'10" and stacked to the gills. But I don't know. Something tells me Walter Walker is gonna find another way to not only pick up a victory in this one, but he's gonna find a way to submit Snooze Bro. And I think it's probably going to be something with the legs, maybe not a heel hook, but maybe like a knee bar or something. Walter Walker just seems to have cracked a new code and is bringing a sort of Fabricio Verdum style game these days in a heavyweight division that hasn't seen such gameplay in a minute. So I'm going to go Walter Walker by YOLO knee bar sub, and I'm going to say it happens in the second round. Are you going Snooze Bro by finish or?
I'm gonna go Snooze Bro via decision.
Snooze Bro
Yeah.
decision. That's right. That's what you said, and you maybe even said split. So check the Snooze Bro by split decision numbers because you never know what judges will be repping the Usman family in this one. So Salvas through me boy, another fun one. Thomas Peterson just mentioned 5 seconds ago taking on Vitor Petrino, aka Vitor Prelimo, and Prelimo is a minus 295 favorite in this one. The odds makers are absolutely loving him against Thomas Peterson, who is plus 220, and the train was a guy who is alternating wins and losses at this point, right? I mean, I feel like he had a lot of hype with his Contender Series victory. Then Jamal Pogue sent him back a step. Then he fights Snoozebro, dominates him. Now he gets smoked by Shamil Gaziv. Now he takes Dontel Mays. It's like he's going up and down, and now he gets to fight against a guy in Prelimo who finally was able to actualize all the hype, but did so against Austin Lane, who most guys are able to demonstrate competence against. So in this one, are you thinking that Prelimo is that much better than Thomas Peterson and should cash as a close to minus 300 favorite? Or is Thomas Peterson way better than Austin Lane and therefore this should be closer to a pick 'em?
Austin Lane, I mean, he's pretty bad, but yeah, I think this could be. I think this is going to be more. This should be a more of a pick 'em, but I mean, Petrino is so bad. I'm surprised to see him this big of a favorite. Um, but man, I guess I'm gonna ride with the underdogs. I'm gonna go with Thomas on this one. I like these are two double dogs that these both probably should be both pick'ems, the Muhammad fight and the Thomas fight, and these are juicy odds. So anyone can win this, but I mean, Petrino has really good power. He could knock him out. Thomas, I mean, definitely could knock out Petrino. Anyone can knock out Petrino, apparently, because he has glass jaw. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna take Peterson on this one. I'm gonna go third round finish. Gassed.
Yeah, very interesting because Thomas Peterson, if you really look at Prelimo's opponents, Prelimo's never really faced a serious like wrestle heavy Midwest brawler in similar to what we're getting from Tommy Pete. And perhaps that different sort of game might confuse Vitor a little bit because he's been going against either stand-up guys or dudes like Austin Lane who are just jobbers, right? So this matchup I do find fascinating. Tapology, however, is not bullish on Thomas Peterson. 94% is going with Prelimo. It's basically all brown for the KO. You're taking Tommy Pete. You're saying third round finish. Are there going to be dangerous moments early? And is that what you're going to be most inspecting of? Like, do you think that Peterson is going to be going through the fire and facing some adversity, but then once he gets through, he'll be able to take over?
Yeah, I think he could definitely, maybe he gets wobbled, maybe it's clipped here and there, but will overcome adversity and then weather the storm and the gas tank and get the job done.
Yeah, this one's tough for me because I've obviously not been aboard Prelimo. However, I did have him by submission on that last card against Austin Lane, and that was like plus 600. So Prelimo did come through for the boy in that one. I like where your head's at though, me, but I like Thomas Peterson. Let's say he survives this fight and ultimately gets a decision, but it is possible that this fight is over in like 2 minutes and Tommy Peterson goes to the PFL and probably fights for a title because you never know with a matchup like this, but let's bank on the Minnesota top team fighter, the train, Tommy Peterson. We're coming full steam ahead, and we'll ride him both by decision. So swap us through, Meat Boy Co-Meat, or excuse me, third from the top, and a fun one. Joel Alvarez is taking on Vicente Luque, and right away the odds jump out to me. Minus 520 is Joel Alvarez, plus 350 is Vicente Luque, and Tapology is all over Alvarez. Same exact numbers that we're getting for pre-limo fight. 94% going with Alvarez against just 6% Vicente Luque. And to me, that was a little crazy. I mean, I'm leaning Alvarez in this one. He's been looking great. He's won 7 of 8, won 3 straight, picked up finishes, looks amazing. But Vicente Luque is still Vicente Luque, and Vicente loves to alternate fights, wins and losses, and loves to win fights when he's a heavy underdog. I mean, think back to that fight recently against Temba Garimbo where he was a fat dog and picked up a performance of the night finish in 52 seconds. So does this perhaps have upset life YOLO on it, or is this the Joel Alvarez time and perhaps Alvarez is only a couple fights away from title shot?
I mean, Alvarez definitely could. I mean, I feel like that's a stretch. Either one of these guys getting the title shot, but Alvarez. I mean, pretty crazy to see him as a minus 520. I would say this is also another pick. But I do slightly lean more Alvarez. Not 520 confident, more like minus 165. But to see these odds, I almost hope Vicente wins, but I gotta lean on Alvarez. I think Alvarez is gonna have the reach, have maybe the better grappling. The only thing I do worry about is will Vicente be a little bit stronger, but I'm not too sure. I'm curious to see how strong Alvarez is. If Alvarez matches or is stronger, he's gonna dominate from beginning to the end.
Yeah, the thing with Joel Alvarez is he's just massive, right? He's so big for the weight class, so rarely do you ever see him getting out muscled by anyone, especially not even Luque, who is maybe not on the smaller end of the division, but definitely not on the massive end that Joel Alvarez is. And the only time we've really seen Alvarez get out muscled, out strengthened was against Arman Sarukian, who basically does that to everyone. So if his only pathway that is Luque is to out muscle Alvarez, that to me is a tough sell. And like I said, Tapology all over Alvarez. I like point though. I do agree this should be closer to -175, -200 range, and that at -520, there's simply too much danger on the other side to warrant, going on that at all. But pick for me will definitely be Joel Alvarez. I'm gonna take him. Do you think that there's a way this goes decision though? Like maybe Vicente Luque. I mean, the dude is tough as nails. Perhaps this fight goes a little bit longer, maybe even over 1.5 action. Do you think that this fight's over early and often, or does Vicente's toughness extend this longer than some might think?
I could definitely see Vicente's toughness extending it longer, but also I could see Vicente, getting finished early. So I don't know. This is a fun fight. This is a crazy matchup. Both guys I'm a big fan of. I don't know. I think this is gonna. I don't think it's gonna go the distance, but I'm not too sure which round. It could end in first, second, or third. Could even go
Yeah,
decision, but I think it will end.
yeah, I feel that. Let us know in the comments if you're bullish at all on a finish for Joel Alvarez or if you think that decision is most likely. I will officially go. I'm gonna go decision. Something tells me this fight is longer than anticipated, closer than anticipated. But the pick for me is Joel Alvarez. Both taking Alvarez in this one. Swap us through me, boy. It's the last one. It's your boy. I feel like every card these days is featuring some of your boys. We got Blackjack, Joe Pfeiffer, and this weekend it's the OG, the boy of all boys, Davison Figueiredo, aka Fig Dog, taking on Montel Jackson. And this one's fascinating because the odds are similar to other fights we broke down, similar to Petrino versus Peterson, right? -295 is Montel Jackson, +220 is Figueiredo, but you're not seeing a 95-5 split on Tapology, and instead it's 50-50 down the middle. So despite the fact that odds makers are overwhelmingly bullish on Montel Jackson as a 3-1 favorite, Tapology's hardcores are split down the middle, and given Figgy the respect I know you believe he has earned and deserves. So in this co-meet, it's a 3-round fight. Thankfully, it's not one of those random 5-round co-meets. 3 rounds, Figueredo back against the wall versus Montel Jackson, a dude whose best win you mentioned was JP Buys. Are you seeing some Fig Lock, Fig Dog life for your boy Davison Figueredo?
Yeah, I think Fig is definitely a Fig lock. I mean, just look at the people he's fought versus Montel Jackson. I think Figueiredo is one of the best in the division, even though he's fighting up a weight class, but he's still been looking really good. Wins, loss, doesn't matter. He looks great in this division, and I think he's going to dominate. I think these are the juiciest odds. This might be the card of the dogs. Calling it here right now, and I think there's a lot of juicy tenders to be made.
If you're rolling with Figueredo, how do you envision him getting this one done over Montel Jackson? Because Tapology is basically beige on both sides. They think this fight is going the distance, and Jackson is going to win that way. Figueredo, if he wins, will win that way. Do you see potential finishing opportunities for Figueredo, or do you too agree with Tapology that when Figueredo wins this, it's by decision?
Yeah, I think if Figueroa wins, I mean, it could be decision, but I'm gonna go with a knockout on this one. I'm gonna go with knockout. He's due for a finish.
He is due for a finish. Montel Jackson, another one of these guys who never has been finished, not by strikes nor by submission. So if Figgy's the one to do it, that would be impressive. Obviously, Montel is coming off a nice recent win over Daniel Marcos, so perhaps that recent win is skewing the odds makers a bit, and they see Figueiredo's recent history, 2 straight L's, and are picking against him for that reason. But you mentioned the degree of competition that both these guys have faced. I mean, if you just scroll through Figgy's last 5 fights and namely his last 2 losses, Sanhagen, Peter Yan. I mean, these are the top dudes in the division. And while Montel Jackson's recent win over Daniel Marcos was impressive, I want to see Figueiredo versus Daniel Marcos, and I think that could be a close fight as well, and perhaps a winnable one for Figueiredo. So this one's tough, me boy. Final last pitch for why you think Figueiredo gets this one done over Jackson beyond just loyalty and repping your boy. Stylistically, how does he get this one done over Jackson?
Yeah, no, stylistically, I think Figueiredo, I mean, on the ground, on the feet, he is phenomenal. He did get finished by Corey Sandman, but I mean, he's fought all the best fighters. Montel Jackson, who has he fought? Look at David Sigafredo's, his resume. Look at Montel Jackson. I mean, Montel Jackson's best win is what JP buys. Like, come on. So this is just a very bizarre thing. Either everyone's thinking that 37-year-old, God of War is washed, or from just those last two fights. But it's like, bro, he lost to Peter Yan, Corey Sandhagen. I mean, no shame in that. Montel Jackson, he beat JB Buys. You're telling me that equals Davison Figueiredo? So I don't know. I think the math ain't mathin', but this is gonna be an absolute sick fight and a dominant, expect spectacular fashion by Figueiredo.
Yeah, I see your point for sure. I mean, I'm definitely not disagreeing with the level of competition for either guy. I guess what does make me worry, though, is that even though those were the top bantamweights that spoiled Figueiredo's debut and second fight in the division, I just wonder if all bantamweights are just going to be a little bit too big, a little bit too dominant for Figueiredo. And Figueiredo, a dude who's 5'5" and dominated everyone at 125 because he, cut more weight than anyone. I just don't know if at this 135 division that sort of weight bullying tactics work. And for that reason, me boy, you almost had me. I was about to pick the Fig Dog Fig Lock, but then I realized Montel Jackson's like 6 foot tall, way rangier, way younger, and I think Mini Figgy I think it's Mini Flyweight Figgy for the dub, and Bantamweight Figgy. I don't want to call him a scrub, but it would rhyme. So let's go Montel Jackson. I'm gonna go Montel by decision, but Montel might even finish it, boy, in this one. Am I tripping?
No, I don't think you're tripping, but I think you are tripping. Figueiredo, little arms, but he will get in and put him down.
I'll be rooting for him. I know that Figgy is a fan favorite and Montel Jackson isn't. So let's go Figgy. Pick officially, however, is Montel Jackson. You're taking Figueiredo by finish. Any last thoughts on UFC Rio? We broke down 5. Oliveira's coming through for the Meatlock. Are we going 5-0?
We are definitely going 5-0. We are due.